What's going on, guys? Cadence here. Welcome back to a Cadence's Rail Yard unboxing video. Today we're going to look at another collection of Thomas items. You guys seem to really like that last video we did with the knockoff wooden railway toys, and I really appreciate all the new subscribers, all the new commenters off of that video. But today we're going to look at some real Thomas toys, some real, genuine, authorized, licensed, whatever you want to say, Thomas toys. And these are sort of my favorite line of Thomas toys, the Ertl range. And I really like these because they sort of have a similar size to HO scale. They always had a really quality feeling to them. I love the variety of characters they made in this range too. These are always the ones I liked collecting growing up. I ordered this so long ago, I honestly forgot what characters are in this, but I know we've got some good ones. And I know that this is going to be a great way to start. Here we have Boko. That's a really, really great condition one right there too. I like that you can even read the British Rail's crest on there. And here's another diesel, but this one's kind of unique because this engine did not appear in the TV show. D199. This engine always confused me growing up because there were always toys of it available, but it was never in the show. And at the time, I wasn't really sure. I didn't know really about the Railway series as much, and I didn't know that characters from the books sometimes made it to the toy lines even if they weren't in the show. But here's two that probably every train kid knows, Edward and of course James. These are not in as good of shape as the other two. Maybe they got played with more because they're more popular characters. But so far, the Boko and D199 definitely win this collection for me so far. Annie and Clarabelle. Love these. Those faces are so nostalgic. That's exactly what the ones on my Tomy trains looked like when I was growing up. And then of course Gordon, once again, one of the ones that every single train kid and even the general public know who that is. Here's a unique one I've never actually had, and I'm glad that it seems to be in decent shape with both of these sort of legs intact. It's the breakdown train. It's weird that they decided to make it one car, though, even though it's two cars, but it still looks really good, and lots of good movement on that. There's definitely a lot of pieces on there that could have gone missing or broken off, so I'm glad that there really don't seem to be many missing on mine. Here's another just classic one. Looks to be in pretty good shape too. Good old Terrence. The one thing that's kind of funny about Ertls is the scaling isn't the best. And most Thomas toys it's not. But like Terrence is just as even taller than D199. I don't really think that's how it would be in real life, but that's okay. I don't think that any of those toy lines actually had the scaling completely perfect. Here's a couple troublesome trucks. Iconic faces on these guys. And I was a big Leo Kim video guy growing up. I watched all his videos, maybe 10 or 8 years ago. And I remember, Mad Bomber was one of his big videos, and I always just loved what he did with these Ertl trains in that video. Here's Sir Handel. He's in really good shape, like astonishingly good shape. I accidentally forgot to charge my camera before filming this, so sorry about that slight intermission there. But let's continue looking at some cool Ertl Thomas items, of course. Here being Thomas, and obviously since that's everyone's favorite character, he's going to have the most playwear. He's missing the stickers off the buffers, and he's got a big S on his back. I don't really know what that means, but actually isn't in bad shape at all. And I think that right before my camera died, we were looking at the narrow gauge engines where I think we were just onto Sir Handel, and I see a few more in here. In fact, here's one that isn't Ertl. This is actually a much, 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 much newer Thomas toy. One of the Trackmaster push-alongs, I think is what that is. Of course, of Percy there. Not really huge on those. I tend to like the older Thomas stuff more. For instance, this Percy to me is a lot cooler than the push-along, Trackmaster thing. It's not that it's bad, but I'm just a sucker for nostalgia, and so all these Ertl characters really have that nostalgia factor for them. Ben, he looks great too. Lots of paint chips everywhere, but, these are toys, so what can you expect? I love the way they did the side rods. They're not the most realistic looking, but for some reason I've always liked the Ertl side rods. And here's what I think is a pretty rare one, Godred, one of the mountain engines. Because I think Coldy is kind of the easiest to find, and maybe he's a little rarer, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Oh, here's a cool one. I've never had the Ertl of this before, the bulgy Ertl. I wish these weren't all stickers on the side though. On the plus side, I think that's all metal for his really main, shell, which is cool, especially because they went to so much plastic on these toys, sort of after Ertl left the scene. Here's another one that is not an Ertl, but, oh, that's actually a unique face on this. I haven't seen that James face before. Maybe you guys can tell me what set or episode or whatever that's supposed to be a reference to. Birdie. Again, not the greatest condition, but I love his shape. It's so funny how slanted he is. It's always been a little bit peculiar to me why he looks like that, because he doesn't necessarily look that way in the show. Here's Mavis. She's in really good condition. Probably one that didn't get played with a whole lot, I guess. I'm assuming this all came from the same kid's collection. And then Tidmouth Milk Tanker. I know you guys can't obviously feel these through the camera, but I wish this was a little bit heavier. This has, not really any weight to it. Same thing for Annie and Clarabelle. They were pretty light as opposed to the engines, which are all metal. Harold, he looks great. Fortunately, all the blades are on for his propeller, but you can see the stress marks of where they were probably gonna break if he got any more play. Here's another non-train character. Caroline. Again, I mean, this is basically just a Hot Wheels car, a Matchbox car, which is cool. It's the nice thing with Ertl, is their stuff, like, if this was on a model railroad and the face wasn't there, you wouldn't think anything of it. You wouldn't think it's a Thomas character, which I think is pretty cool. And speaking of Thomas, there's like a near mint condition Take-Along Thomas, which is pretty cool. He's in great condition. We've got just a few more things floating down here. Looks like we have 2 Ertl things and 1 non-Ertl thing. First is a tar tanker. It looks great, but once again, not the heaviest thing in the world, so I wish it had a little more weight to it. And then there's a Take-Along Toby, which is good, but I think I'm going to stick to the good old Ertl Toby. He looks amazing too. And just really a nice collection here to reminisce on how good Thomas and Friends toys used to be, because this to me was the peak. And I love getting to open this stuff in front of you guys. Thank you for watching. If you like something you saw, it'll be in my stores. cadencesrailyard.com is where all the info is. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.